Hey, you're about to listen to a clip from our last episode. Make sure to check out the full episode by clicking on the profile and looking for it, or other clips. I really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Here you go. Bye. So ICE last week killed another American, Alex Pretti, a VA nurse. There's a zillion videos of it from different angles from the people who were also there. Immediately after, Kristi Noem, Dan Bovino, all these guys said he was a domestic terrorist trying to cause maximum harm, even though all of the videos showed him getting not only the gun removed from him, but like pistol whipped and stuff like this. And what ended up almost being the number one drama point was the fact that he had a permitted gun on his person, not brandished, but like in his pocket, that was removed before they killed him. And the narrative of, well, he shouldn't be bringing a gun to a protest. We heard this from Kash Patel, Trump himself. Of course, Scott Bessent, once again, had to make it sure he can't get out of the news. And a bunch of other of these kind of things. I think the Kash Patel one was the one that was the most jarring for a lot of Second Amendment guys because he was really explicit. But yeah, I mean, I can't believe they'd done it. They dropped the Second Amendment. The one amendment that I thought they loved the most and closest to their heart, they've seemed to have abandoned.
Exactly. And it would be hypocritical already if the Kyle Rittenhouse shooting wasn't such a big deal. And it makes it that much worse because you're talking about a 17-year-old that brought his dad's gun to a protest.
Yeah, like a huge, and he was holding it like out front.
Right, like, so the hypocrisy is that much worse. And then where's the NRA? And I was curious if they've posted anything about it. So this morning I went on the NRA's Instagram, and their number one pinned post at the top of their official Instagram is congratulating Donald Trump with a lifetime member award. So they don't seem to be bothered by Trump literally saying you can't bring guns in public legally. You would think they would be, but they're not too concerned.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, every single time the Trump administration goes back on their campaign promises or whatnot, you see the news go, will this be the thing that breaks MAGA? Will it be the Epstein files? Will it be the foreign wars? Will it be the free trade? And now, you know, you're hearing the same thing. And every time your gut, right, at least my gut, says, oh, yeah, I mean, come on, this has been their thing my whole life. They've literally had the case of, we don't care that kids are dying. There's no way on earth you're taking away my gun. And now you think, oh, well, maybe now. But I actually don't think it'll change it that much. Maybe more moderate conservatives will, you know, who are kind of wobbling on the fence now will have a piece of evidence. But I think the diehard MAGA people somehow in their mind will twist this in a way to justify this rhetoric.
Exactly. And just like with what ICE is doing, like, these people just think they'll be immune from this federal government overreach. And you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they think like, oh, Trump would never try to take our guns. So I think it's kind of that attitude.
100%. It's we've just seen it creep further and further down the line. It's also, and not to get too kind of meta here, but it's just the thing I've been thinking. It's not really a news story, but it's in response to this news story. Something I've been thinking about all week long, and I'm curious what you think, is as we've seen every single value that was the traditional conservatives, like, staple points, like, you know, free trade, free gun use, like, you know, small state governments, small federal governments, like all this stuff, wither away one by one by one. It makes you think, okay, what is the only thing that a Republican 20 years ago would agree with a Republican now, right? Like, is there anything that would tie those two groups together? And the only one I can think of, at least, is tax cuts for the rich. It's the only similarity between Trump and Reagan. And I feel like just reinforces this kind of cynical kind of viewpoint of them, but like, I really think they don't have a single other goal other than tax cuts for the rich. And I know people are going, yeah, no shit, Nick. But like really nothing. Like, I don't think any of those guys care about any of the arguments they've made outside of the cuts, because how quickly they fold. You know, I don't know. What do you think about that? It's pretty cynical, but it makes me wonder.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, that really is the only thing. Is tax cuts for the rich. There's nothing. I mean, you mentioned free trade. Obviously, the tariffs have completely gotten rid of that. The First and Second Amendment, like everything that they once said they were for, they just don't really care about anymore. They don't care that Trump has totally reversed on all those things. I totally agree. And like to make the cynical point a little bit more cynical, like these billionaires that are giving billions of dollars to politicians, like they like these niche issues, what are sometimes called culture war issues or hot button issues. You know, everything from abortion to trans rights to gun rights, like all those things. They don't care about those, but they'll definitely purposely inflame the tensions to keep people distracted from pushing aggressively to raise their taxes.
Totally. And I think it's not a huge surprise that a lot of the culture stuff turned out to be like just smoke screens, right? Like, do these guys really care about trans athletes, or do they really care about the environment even? Or gay rights or whatever. But like, even the more like political wonky stuff, like small government and, you know, tax policy and stuff like that, which has always been like the more serious sounding in a way, like from like just a political nerd thing. I think that's all BS too. Clearly, right? They just insta-fold. The state government one is especially jarring, because that's been kind of the, you can't regulate what I put in my river, like, because that's the federal government. Like, that usually boils everything down as like big state government, small federal government, and how Trump has the biggest federal government I can think of, you know, in terms of like how much it overreaches, how involved it is in every aspect of society. And so like, when you think about it like that, you go, okay, and I'm not one to, and we're going to be rashing on Schumer very soon in the show. I'm not saying that, you know, Democratic senators and congressmen, they're all, you know, this angel group. But I will say Democratic politics has been value-based loosely, like where they won't go, like at least outwardly, away from their values as much, other than campaign financing, which you could say is obviously a big one. But like, I think a lot of the times people would argue that the Democrats are too moral based and too value, and they can't get out of their own way because they're so stuck. And it does make you wonder, like, what do you do with that going forward? Like, how do you even argue with these guys?
Yeah, exactly. Because like all these, like pre-Trump and really even Trump's first term, really until this second term, like we think about all these different ideologies and like factions as influencing the two parties, like whether it's Christian nationalism, democratic socialism, libertarianism, whatever. Like all those things have no effect in comparison to the cult of personality with Trump. Like it really is a cult of personality. It's all about what Trump has said that day, because Trump doesn't really have any foundational views or opinions either. So it's like the whims of his crazy brain. But yeah, all these like ways we typically have thought of like looking at the two parties, like none of it really seems to matter anymore, because it's so based around either being loyal to Trump or on the other side, you know, responding and opposing to what he's doing most recently.
Yeah, and like, so like, it just makes you wonder, like when, for example, let's God hope that, you know, the 2028 election is normal and Trump goes and whatnot. And, you know, rightfully so, the issue of, I don't know, like healthcare comes up, and they go, you know, the Democratic candidate goes, oh, we want, let's hopefully say, like some Medicare for all type thing. And they'll argue with the conservative candidate about the merits of, you know, can a government-run system work? Like, how does a privatized version work? Like, and it will be this whole debate about that. But in reality, I feel like that's not even like reflective of the true decision-making tree at all. It's just one group saying, yeah, I don't care what's better. I just know this one will make more money for people. And then the other one kind of just like placating a response, but ultimately kind of being like, look, yeah, I guess at the end of the day, whatever. And like, that's pretty cynical, but like, I don't think they're ever arguing the merits of things. And obviously people are, you know what I mean? Like people in the country, like talking to people and stuff like that. I'm talking about like at the federal level. And it just kind of reframes how you look at things a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.